Hey guys, how's it going? It's Gibby here, and today I'm going to show you how we rig up our tip-ups. So to start, there's kind of two different kinds of tip-ups. Typically it's going to be this plastic framed one. These are definitely like the lower budget ones, perfectly fine to use, but again, just that lower end budget. Once you start getting up into the higher end tip-ups, they're typically wooden like this, and they have more of a antifreeze lubricant on the wheel here. Typically why they're a little bit more money, but overall, probably the number one brand that we all love and use is this Beaver Dam tip-up here. There are other wooden brands that offer comparable specs for a little bit cheaper the price, like this guy here. I got this Frabill Classic, just wooden tip-up. Really only difference between this and the Beaver Dam tip-up is the lack of the antifreeze lubricant. But again, if normal ice fishing, not too cold of temperatures, these should work just fine for you. So I guess the next step after you kind of pick out what kind of tip-up you want to use is kind of line you want. We kind of prefer this like braided line here. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's essentially just kind of fabric-y, kind of yarn-like. And what's nice about this is it doesn't freeze very well, which really helps, especially when you're laying the line out on the ice after you got a fish on it. It doesn't really freeze the ice. Otherwise, there are like some coated line, which I have on the Frabill here. This guy. This is like that normal, normal fishing line, but it has like a rubberized coating over it to kind of help with that antifreeze, so it doesn't stick to the ice or kind of clog up your spool here. But yeah, those are kind of like the two options. And then the last thing is, what kind of leader do you want? So typically when you rig these up, you kind of have a leader of sorts. So there's your typical metal leaders, like I have on this guy here. I'll pull them down here so you can see. Which these are good again for like fish that have teeth, that can like really kind of break the line. So this is just a metal leader here, about 2 feet, maybe 1.5 foot of metal leader. The other option you have is to make like a fluorocarbon leader, which I have here. This Vanish line is really good. Helps the fish not be able to see it. I mean, it's really thin, so like those finicky fish like walleye, they don't really notice the line that much. So if you use like a metal leader like this for walleye, chances are they might see it, and that might deter them from taking the bait. Alright, so let's actually rig up one of these tip-ups now. So first we're gonna have to put on that base line here. So got some wood stock here. This color is red. Again, the color doesn't really matter so much for this base line. It's more so for that leader, because you're gonna have like a foot or two of leader before this line, so they won't really see this. So to start, just tie a knot, basic knot, whatever you want. I just do a nice overhand knot, double knot it, and just keep it so that the line stays in place on the spool here. There we go. And then just cut off that little tail here. I just got some pliers with a wire cutter on it. Nothing too special. Gets the job done. There we go. And now this knot's a little too big. Tighten it a little bit more. And use the pliers to kind of grip that tail if you already chopped it off. So now that's a little bit tighter. So now we should be able to start spooling it on. The other thing you want to check when you're spooling it on is just make note of what way you're spooling it on. So we like to spool it on clockwise. No particular reason. This is just the way we do it, so that way when we're trying to let some line out for a potential fish we have out on there, we kind of know what way to do that. So now comes the kind of exhaustive part of just sitting here spinning this on. Some people kind of use a drill to kind of speed up the process, but I don't really have that luxury. So I just do it by hand, just sit here spinning away. What's also nice about this kind of line here, this nylon line, is it doesn't really have much memory from sitting on the spool, so you don't really have to pay too much attention to that. Now for the coated line, you will have to kind of pay attention, just so that it doesn't like shoot off the spool. So you want to put the line on the same way that it comes off the spool. So with this, I'm just trying to make sure that the line is going on evenly on the spool here. Helps kind of prevent some knots that may come about if the line gets pulled out all this way. And then you don't have to go super tight. You don't really want to go super tight, because that tightness can make the fish drop the bait. So you want to just spool it on here. It doesn't have to be super tight. And again, just making sure you're trying to get it on here evenly throughout the spool process here. So I'll cut back here in a little bit once I get the spool filled. Alright, so we're back. Got this kind of chopped off from this spool I unwound it from, so we're good to go now. Just the one thing you want to make sure is don't over spool this. It'll just cause you headaches and problems down the road. So just I typically just go past. There's a little kind of like a little hole typically on the spools. That little hole there. Try to get it just so that it's just covering that. Now that we got that, now comes the fun stuff. So I'll just kind of set this as is. Just put that so I don't keep unspooling it. Alright, so the one thing we like to do is put a button, just a little button on here. Kind of helps us track the depth that we set it to. So that way when you get a fish and he pulls out all the line, we can set it back to the depth we had it at without too much of a hassle. There we go. We got the button on there. So this just kind of slides up and down, helps you set the depth to where you want it to be. Alright, so now we'll want to kind of just put a snap swivel on there. So I just got some Eagle Claw snap swivels. Just tie that on there. This way we can kind of change out the leaders when we want, depending on what type of species we're going after. We may want a different leader setup for that. So again, just gonna, this will be a little bit one of those fisherman knots. Coincidentally, it's pretty much right on the back here. I'll kind of show that to you guys. So just kind of loop that through. I typically just grab the end here and then just twist this up a few times. Get some twists in there. Then you just want to bring this back, loop it through. See how I kind of have it? These are all the twists, and then I bring it back and put it through this original loop here. I'm kind of pull it tight a little bit. And then the goal here is to get this to go back through when you brought it back. So right here, I got it isolated. You guys can see this loop right here. This is when I brought this back towards the snap swivel. Just want to run that through here again. And there we go. Now you just kind of pull it down. Make sure not to lose that knot. Once you get it closer to the swivel here, I like to just pull on it, and it's normally pretty much good to go. And just pull the tail a little bit, nice and tight. But it's a nice knot there. And then just chop off the tail, and that's good to go. One thing to note, if it's not, this knot here is not tight enough, and you cut off the tail and you pull on it, it will come undone. So it's good to just test it. Make sure it doesn't come undone, because if it comes undone and there's a fish on there, you just lost the fish and the leader. So just double check, make sure it's tight enough before you're ready to go. So that's pretty much it. Again, you just put on what kind of leader you want, metal leader or make a fluorocarbon leader. If you guys want to see a video of that, I'd be more than happy to make a video of how we rig up some fluorocarbon leaders. So let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.